every Sunday is a battle. I am your man, Will McCann, and along with my partner, Tellis Everett, we're a couple of fans from the heart of the Midwest that bring you weekly breakdowns from the NFC North, the Black and Blue division. So whether you rep green and gold, Honolulu blue, purple and gold, or you rep the monsters of the Midway, you are in the right place. So lace them up, strap in, and let's talk black and blue. Tell us, my man, what is up?
What's going on, Will McCann? Hey, everyone, friends and kinfolk, we appreciate you joining us. Thank you for supporting the Black and Blue podcast. As you know, Will and I are real estate agents in the state of Michigan. So if you know anybody that's looking to buy, sell, or invest, hit us up for a winning game plan in real estate. Will McCann, top 10 today.
Hey, let's see how far we can get today, man. We're going to start at number 29 and see if we can work our way all the way to number one today. I did make a change to my list. I had said I didn't have any current players on my list, and up to this point, I have had a few who I said didn't have any leeway to improve their status on the list. Tellis felt differently and said, "Hey, I'm not giving you any credit for the runway. You haven't done anything so far." So I do have three current players who I've added to my list who I think, well, who are in the back end of their career. Like I had Kirk Cousins and Russell Wilson on my list, and they are clearly in the back end of their career. I added three other names to my list, which pushed some other guys back. So you can see all three of those names I added are in the top 20, which pushed some names back on my list. So tell us, my man, let's go through your list. Let's add them to the list real quick here.
Right.
Let me run my share here. I'm sorry. Got anything you want to say before we get started?
Let me just say, if Joe Burrow wins the Super Bowl in the next couple of years, I can do an addendum to my list and we can do a mini pod about it. But that's what the runway, I'm not giving you credit for the runway.
Is there
If you
anybody
choose
else? Is there
if
anybody else who a current quarterback who um if they win a Super Bowl, if they win an MVP, would make a significant movement on your list?
yeah. So we can start with Josh Allen,
Mm-hmm.
Lamar Jackson,
Yeah.
Dak Prescott,
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They could all move up or down, but but I think you were thinking about giving people a leeway because they had a longer runway to get things done. That's why
Yes.
you were moving them up
Yes.
higher. What
Yes.
I'm saying is where they're at right now, based on what they've produced,
Mm-hmm.
that's where I'm ranking them. Here's where you are. If you're Baker Mayfield, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, you have the ability to move up on my list depending on what you do over the next 4 or 5 years. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They may
And I
not they may not jump tiers, but someone like Baker Mayfield, I have him in the 80s, right?
yeah. Yeah.
So,
And the guys you had, the current players you had ranked. I think I think I agree with the range that you have them in.
right.
So if like you had a guy in the high 80s, I had a guy in the low 70s, right? So
Mhm.
so I mean, I had a guy in the high 70s, you had him in the low 80s. So we were still pretty. I think we'd have a lot of that if I had put those guys on my list. Because I
Right.
agree with where you had all of them. And you're right. I did give them credit for they have an opportunity to move up. But you're right. If they don't accomplish any more than they've accomplished today, you have them where they should be on the list.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All
So
right.
let's get into these
So
names
give
29
me
through 20.
your number 29.
Yep. Randall Cunningham,
Spell it for me. I don't want to get it wrong.
E
Randall.
ELL.
ELL.
Yep.
28.
Steve McNair.
Aaron McCann.
That's right.
27.
Donovan McNabb. This is an interesting group because the people that I'm throwing up here, that's a good 4 or 5 that you rank lower.
I had them all lower than you had. And you went on a run earlier. You've gone on another run now, I see.
Yeah, yeah. Len Dawson at 26. 25, I have Joe Namath.
No, it's Matt. 24.
24, Matt Ryan.
Matty Ice, the vice president of football operations for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, that's interesting. Uh, number 23, Ken Stabler.
The Snake.
22,
Deuce Deuce.
Eli Manning.
21.
20, Philip Rivers.
21.
21, Philip Rivers.
Okay. I was just making sure you hadn't moved to number 20 on me, okay? And then number 20, rounding out the 20.
Russell Wilson, Mr. Sierra.
I have to chuckle silently on that. I chuckle silently on that one. All right, man. I like your list. Like I said, we have a lot of guys in the same range. I think I had most of those guys lower than you had them. A couple of the guys I think I have coming up on my list. But you can see my 20s. At 29, I have Ken Anderson. At 28, I have Earl Morrall. Daryl LaMonica at 27. Philip Rivers, number 26. Warren Moon at 25. Dan Fouts at 24, Drew Bledsoe at 23, Dan Marino 22, Drew Brees at 21, and my man Ben Roethlisberger at number 20.
So you had Randall Cunningham at 51,
Yep,
Donovan McNabb at 38. And we kind of talked about Randall and why you had him there and that type of thing.
yep,
But and I think we exhausted the conversation about Eli Manning,
yes,
but I specifically put Eli Manning in what we're considering tier two. So that's the 24 to 12, right?
correct, correct. The high end start, the tier one starters, I think, what does it say on the next page?
Tier one starters,
Now, elite franchise starters.
elite franchise starters.
With
Okay.
the you've got him with the
I got him with
yeah,
the
you've got him with the elite franchise starters. And
right.
my list, because I added those three, it now starts at 27 for me.
Okay.
So 27 would be the elite franchise starters.
So you
From
have
27 to 13. That's from 27 to 14 is where
so-
my elite franchise starters are.
okay. All right. You have Eli Manning outside your elite
Yes,
starters
he's with the high
at
end
30.
starters, not the elite franchise starters. Correct.
You have him at 30, so he's just outside.
Yes, just outside. He's at the
Because now
top
you're
end. He's
yeah.
at the top end of those guys for me. And you've got him at the bottom end of the franchise quarterbacks.
Right,
So we're not far off. And I hear what you're saying. You believe he's in that tier. And
right.
if I have other guys who are ahead of him, then in your mind, my tier should be bigger. I hear you.
Right. Because
Because you feel he belongs in that tier. So,
yeah, he
and I
belongs in
get
that
that. I get that.
I feel he belongs in that tier, but also I think if you thought through it, you wouldn't have Philip Rivers at 26.
Rivers ahead of, and I when it comes down to that, they're both. Yeah, I put it this way, and I still say this, and it's the question I always ask: had Manning stayed with the Chargers and had Rivers stayed with the Giants, would the Giants have had more long-term success than they had with Eli? And I think yes. They may not have won two Super Bowls though. Maybe they only win one with Rivers, which would be more likely, and possible they wouldn't have won any.
So you're
So
so in your and you when you do the Freaky Friday switch up, you're saying that Philip Rivers would have been more successful, right?
um,
In New York,
yes, yes, yes,
and Eli would have been worse than Philip Rivers. The Philip Rivers that was in San Diego, Eli would have been worse than that Philip Rivers.
yes, yes, yes. I believe that.
Okay.
Yes, I believe that.
All right. I just wanted to make sure I understood where we were going.
But still, like I said, they are about the same still.
Uh,
I believe, because I believe Rivers, um, no, the Giants were a more stable franchise. I believe
yeah.
Rivers would have had better support in New York than he had in San Diego. I don't believe
Hmm.
Eli would have got the support, the organizational support in San Diego that and Eli knew that, which is why Eli ended up in New York. And as we talk through it from that perspective, from the negotiation perspective alone, from Eli recognizing the Giants were a better organization, and it wasn't necessarily that the Giants were a better organization. He realized San Diego wasn't a stable organization.
So he doesn't get
As
any
Rivers
credit.
went and didn't care.
So Eli doesn't get any credit for negotiating where he landed.
Yeah, that's why he landed. Yeah, he landed at number 30.
Yeah, I'm up there because of his negotiation at 30. Okay. All right.
When you get down to it, like I said, when it came down to even trying to create the list, right? And the reason I end up at 98, because you get to a point where you're just splitting hairs, right?
Right,
And it's
right.
like I got tired of splitting the hairs. So yeah, that's kind of where I feel. And when I look at the other people on the list, yeah, I think Ken Anderson, Earl Morrall, Daryl LaMonica, Philip Rivers. Yeah, I would put. Yeah, I would. And you've got to get, and you've got me rethinking Rivers, right? And because I can clearly see where Eli should be ahead of Rivers, right? There is definitely an argument there to be made. I just feel like long term Rivers was the better
Yeah.
quarterback.
Yeah, when you look at my list, they're basically the same,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes,
Eli at 22, Rivers at 21. I'm not really making that big of a distinction between the two of them.
right,
I just think where we have them listed in our individual tiers,
yes,
there's a difference there. And then I
yes.
got Russell Wilson in there at 20. So it kind
And
of for me,
Russell was much lower on my list. Yeah,
yeah, he 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 was, but he's the reason why we have all these small quarterbacks and everybody thinks that they can have they
everybody
can
thinks they can be Russell Wilson. I agree with that.
every coaching staff think they can get these 5'8" players
To be
and turn
Russell Wilson, right? And not
and turn
everybody can.
and not
Uh,
everybody can. He's a unique, special player in the history of the NFL. And
Russell
those
Wilson
don't
is
come
right.
along a lot.
Yes. Yeah, he's in a very small group. All right,
Hmm.
let's move on to the teams. Starting at number 19 for you. Who do you have at number 19?
Kurt Warner.
Uh-oh.
Number
At number
18, Warren
18.
Moon. 17, Bart Starr. 16, Jim Kelly. And as much heartache I give this individual, I do have him ranked higher than you. Ben Roethlisberger. Number 14, Terry Bradshaw. 13, Fran Tarkenton. 12, Dan Marino. And number 11, Steve Young. Look at that. We got Steve Young at the same
Look,
spot.
we both end up with Steve Young at number 11. All right, run through my list at number 19. And I figured you'd get a kick out of this. Here's one of the current players I inserted into my list, and that was Matthew Stafford at number 19. So, of course, if I put Matthew Stafford in, that means I pushed Ben Roethlisberger down because he's at number 20. And you remember we had that discussion earlier about elite quarterbacks, one versus the other. But yeah, I've got Matthew Stafford at number 19. Kurt Warner at number 18. The Snake, Ken Stabler at number 17. Lynn Dawson at number 16. I've got Troy Aikman at number 15. Bob Greasy at number 14. Jim Kelly at number 13. Terry Bradshaw at number 12. And like you said, Steve Young at number 11. So we've got a lot of guys who are roughly in the same tier. Warren Moon started this tier for me of elite franchise quarterbacks. I see you've got Kurt Warner in there as well. So yeah, we're pretty similar. All of our guys are falling within the same range here.
Yeah.
Now you
My,
had I had Star a little lower than you. I think I
yeah,
had.
and I don't remember where I have Stafford, but I feel like, man, I don't remember where I have him at. Um,
You
he
feel
might,
like that's a little high for Stafford?
I feel like it's high for Stafford. He's been in the league 20 years, three Pro Bowls. Was one of those Pro Bowls
He got a Shador Sanders Pro Bowl in there, yes.
right? I
So, you know, he
it's gonna be funny if he's in my top 10, but I don't remember him being I don't remember having him on my list that high.
I thought you had already said his name. I'd have to go back and comb back through the list, but I thought you had
Right.
already said Stafford. Um, yeah, I have Stafford there. You know, he has been a league MVP. The reason he didn't get a lot of Pro Bowl opportunities is because he played on a lot of bad Lions teams, right? A lot of those 7-9, 9-7 teams without Stafford would have been, you know, teams picking in the top five of the draft. Those were teams that were dearth of talent, that was relying on him every week to go out and be the difference. Uh, and you see his trajectory, how his trajectory has changed since he's gone to LA.
Right.
You know, they won the Super Bowl the first year. The next year, when they started to revamp their team because they went all in the year before, they didn't have a very good year, but they've been in the playoffs since. And, you know, he went all those years in Detroit of not making the playoffs and never being good enough to win a division and get a home playoff game. So I think his career and his career numbers, I think, elevates him into that list. And you can say, and there is the argument that a lot of those Detroit numbers were a lot of empty calories because he was behind a lot. But
Hmm.
him, and like I said, we had the conversation last week about him and all of his comeback victories. It's like, well, what were you doing the rest of the game? When your team is behind all the time and you're playing behind all the time. And Kurt Warner talked about this, how it's tough playing on a team where you have to be the difference every week. And if
Right.
you're not going to win. So when it's 3rd and 7 and you're behind by 3 and it's early in the fourth quarter, you may try to force a throw because you don't trust your defense being able to get you the ball back and hold the team with, maybe a field goal or less. So I think he was put into that position a lot in Detroit, played with a lot of teams, dearth of talent. And I think we've seen a franchise level quarterback late in his career um, in LA. So I think that, and like I said, he's won a Super Bowl and he's won an MVP, and that's why he's higher on my list.
Yeah, I don't see any other glaring. I think we're at a point where we're in a tier that's
The
most
discussion,
people are most
go
people
ahead.
are going to agree with where people are falling in tiers. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of what number we're putting them in.
Yeah, right. Going forward, you're right. It'll just be like you've got Tarkington at 13. I think I may have him at 10. Right.
Right.
So, yeah, there's no difference there. It's just numbers. And then, like I said, at this point, it truly is splitting hairs. Right.
Right.
But this, gets us through the um, tiers 4 through 2 or 2 through 4, however you want to look at it. The next tier, the top 10 guys, like I said, we're entering the holies of holies, right?
Right.
Uh,
Right.
have you ever gone to the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
I have not.
If you've never gone down, man, it's worth the trip. If you're a football fan out there, if you've never gone down, it is worth the trip. One year, I was just talking to my brother. My brother came in from D.C. My father came up from St. Louis. And he drove down with me and my son. My brother came in with him and his son. So the five of us chilled one weekend down in Canton, Ohio, and went over to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Man, we had a ball that weekend. But when you walk into the room where all the busts are of all the players, you feel like you've walked into the holies of holies. The room is dark. There's like a light over each bust,
Yeah.
and they've got them in there, by year of induction. So yeah, that's what it's like as we move into talking about these top 10
Exactly.
players.
Exactly.
All right, so let's get it. All right.
All
My
right.
number 10, I've got Fran Tarkington. Who do you
Yeah.
have at number 10?
Drew Brees,
Drew Brees.
the original Breezy.
At number 9, I have Roger Staubach. Who do you have?
At number 9, I have Roger Staubach.
Roger Staubach. The guy who the original Hail Mary was thrown by Roger Staubach. The
So the next,
reporter asked him after the game. He threw a touchdown pass to Drew, what's his name? Drew Pearson to beat the Vikings. And somebody asked him after the game, what was he thinking on the throw? My man said, I just said a Hail Mary and threw it.
so the next two I have flip-flop from you. So
Ah,
Aaron Rodgers
okay.
at 8 and 7, I have Brett Favre.
All right. Before we move further, let's talk about that. Why Favre ahead of Rodgers?
I feel I think we talked about this before. Favre
We
was
did.
Favre on a different pod,
Right,
earlier
right.
pod.
Yep.
Favre was the quarterback, the leader of the team that brought Green Bay back to prominence. They
Yeah.
went 40 years without any accolades. Um, Brett Favre, along with who was the coach again? Was that
Yeah, I had a tough time remembering his name that day.
was it Hol? It wasn't Holmgren, was it?
Yeah, Mike Holmgren.
Yeah, Holmgren.
Mike Holmgren, yeah.
So
That
the
day we
two,
had that discussion. I couldn't remember Holmgren's name.
so the two of them brought Green Bay back to the legacy that they had been missing. And I think Aaron Rodgers comes in on the tail end of that and is able to continue some of the success. But I'm giving Brett Favre more credit because he was that quarterback.
Yeah, I can see that, and I can agree with that. I can see that argument. I think I gave it to again. I said when you're getting at this point, you are splitting hairs. I think I looked at uh, uh, the MVPs that Aaron won. Aaron won more MVPs.
Hmm.
Um, I think it was first team All Pro more than. Take a quick look here. I think it was first team All Pro more than Favre was. Um, and I just felt overall. Oh, you know what? That's right. Yeah, I inserted Rodgers in my list this morning. If I
Okay.
had given it some thought and really chewed on it, I probably would have put Favre ahead of him also. Because
Yeah.
I remember correctly when we had our discussion, that was during our pod, we were talking about the Green Bay Packers, the history of the Green Bay Packers.
Right.
And I think I chose Favre. I mean, I chose Rodgers. You chose Favre. And we put the team together. You talked me into Favre then. So, yeah, if I had given it some thought, yeah, I probably would have put Favre ahead of Rodgers also. All
And
right,
here's the other thing that here's what I want to say about Rodgers.
go ahead.
If Rodgers retires this today, like he doesn't play another snap, he's solid at number 8 on my list.
Yes.
If he plays this year, he has a potential of going down on my list because
Mm,
he's
mm.
getting further and further away from the quality play that has him up on the list. Like longevity is not doing him any favors. He's not LeBron James. LeBron James out here winning playoff games by himself with him and Rory Uchimura.
Hey, get my man Rui out there balling, man. Give Rui some play.
And Roy, man,
I'm
hey,
going to say this, though, man. To me, that is the opposite of your argument about the guys who are currently on the list that have runway left.
he doesn't. That's what
What
I'm saying
he's
though. He
done is
doesn't have
already in
runway.
the bank. He can't get worse than what he's already done. How does that work? He
I'm
can't
just
get
saying.
any worse. That's just like having a bad career, I mean, a bad year early in his career, and then having the career he had. That the fact that he had the great years he had cancels out any of the bad years. It's
Nah,
the great
it
years
leaves
that
a.
put him on the list, not the fact that he had the bad years.
All right, so it is recency bias on my part, right?
And
Because
I can
it
agree with
is
that. And that,
leaving a bad taste in my mouth. But 10 years from now, he would be back at number 8.
and I can understand that. All right, my guy, who you got at
Like
number 6?
we don't give what Emmitt Smith uh flack about playing with the Cardinals, do we?
Hey,
We forget about it. We've forgotten about it.
you nailed it, dude. You nailed it. See,
And
that's what I'm saying.
Jared Rice played for two other teams, but he's a 49er.
He is a 49er. Yes. Didn't he end his career with Seattle or
Some-
somebody like that?
Something crazy, bro. Yeah.
All
All
right,
right,
my
number
man.
6,
Who you got at number 6?
Johnny Unitas.
Johnny U. tell me how Johnny U made your list, man. That guy played um, before color TV, man.
Yeah, I mean it's just you got in order to do what we're trying to do, I at least go and I look at some stats. I look at whatever video I can find, um, try to read up on different things, that type of stuff. So he makes the list because people still talk about him,
Yeah.
and he's up there because people still talk about him. And I'm looking like it's black and white, but he's the best player out there.
Yeah.
Like, like,
Yeah,
that
we talk about legendary moments, right? You talk about Eli Manning and his legendary moments. It was Johnny U and his legendary moments in big games early or in the late 50s, early 60s with the old Baltimore Colts. Um, and they were the first passing team. Back then, teams ran the ball somewhere 35% of the time. Nobody ran the ball, or rarely was it some team ran the ball more than 35% of the time. The Baltimore Colts ran the ball 45% of the time. They were the first team to throw the ball that much. And Johnny U, with his passing numbers far and exceeded everybody back then.
right,
He was in a different category passing the football. Johnny U still has records today. So yeah, he was the original passing quarterback. He was the original guy people tuned in to see. Like you said, it was in black and white, but this dude is out there balling.
exactly, exactly.
All
Yep.
right,
So
who
to
you have
continue,
at go
I
ahead.
got I got John Elway at number 5.
Okay, so another two we have flipped.
Yep.
Uh-uh. Number 4,
Number 4, Peyton Manning.
I can see that. Number
Number
3,
Patrick Mahomes.
I can see that. Uh-oh. Get my fingers on the right keys. Number 2,
Joe Montana.
what am I doing? And number 1 is, hang
Tom
on a second.
Brady.
I think I can guess that one now.
Yep. Tom Brady.
Um, I can't even think of nothing clever off the top of my head. I was trying my best, man, but I couldn't even come up with anybody. I already had Case Keenum, Bubby Brister. I should have come up with Bubby Brister. So
Uh,
yeah, all of our except for Tarkington, we have our top 9 are all the same guys, right? We just
right.
have them listed in different orders, right? And I would agree with you that those are the top 9 quarterbacks of all time. Those are the legends. Uh, there is no Mount Rushmore because there's too many dudes for there to be a Mount Rushmore. If there were a Mount Rushmore, it would be that top 4. I don't know, man. It's hard to leave Elway off of a Mount Rushmore. It's hard to leave Johnny U off of what you would call a Mount Rushmore, right? That's why I said there can't be one because there are just too many dudes who've had too much impact, right? Um, and it's interesting that a current player, Patrick Mahomes, is top 3 worst case, right? All time. And he is a current player with a lot of runway left. But there ain't a whole lot of room for him to climb, right?
So you're not giving him a lot of room to climb. Like he's got to make to 12 Super Bowls to beat Tom Brady.
He
Uh,
would move, there when you look at this list, are the
So I'm giving him some runway, right? Because I have Joe Montana at second, and the reason why Joe is second: four Super Bowl championships, three Super Bowl MVPs, um, some Player of the Year, comeback player, all kinds of accolades, right?
Yes, just dripping with them.
Just dripping with them. So, and he was a spectacular player. It's not like he was Eli Manning and just happened to ball out and have a couple of great plays in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I remember this will be drawing in a semi-sports analogy. I was watching some show about the World Series of Poker, and they were talking about a particular poker player. I want to say it was Chris Wanamaker, but somebody said about my man, dude was just a bum living in his mom's basement, and he caught a couple of cards on the river. And I
Uh,
kind of feel like that about, to an extent. Eli wasn't quite that bad, but he caught a couple of cards on the river, man.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And the other thing about Joe Montana is that you can't really label him a running quarterback, but
No,
but he had the ability to escape. And in an era where you didn't have running quarterbacks, he scored 20 rushing touchdowns. So low key, he was athletic.
very, very. He
So
was he was the starting point guard on his basketball team in high school.
yeah.
Yeah, Joe
So
could hoop.
it's not like we need to go out here and call him Joe Johnson
Yeah.
or Joe Jackson
Or Joe Washington.
or or Joe White or Joe Black, but he was athletic.
Yes,
So
yes,
when you look at someone like a Patrick Mahomes, he's in
yes,
that similar build, right?
yes.
And then when you're looking at Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, they're more of those in the pocket type of guys. So
They were more like Johnny U, right? I was gonna
right,
say when I look at this list, man, what I start to see is like evolution of players, right? Is
right,
when you started to describe Joe Montana, I thought he was like a better version of Roger Staubach, right?
yes,
He
yes,
kind of had taken that model and built on it, right? He was
hmm,
nasty moving to his right, throwing the football on the run, right?
right,
Just eluding, like you said, not trying to run for yardage, but running for first downs, trying to make a play with the football, throwing the football, and in the red zone, getting in the end zone and scoring touchdowns.
right,
And that was kind of the way Staubach played. I think of like you were saying about Brady and Manning being pocket quarterbacks. That
hmm,
they played the game the way Johnny U did, from the pocket, surveying the field, making quick throws. Brett Favre was just out there playing football, man.
right, right,
I remember they do NFL Network does these little documentaries, mini documentaries, if you will, about great seasons that teams have had or about particular players and coaches. And they did one on Favre, and they were talking to Mike Holmgren about how he would always bring the quarterback in after the game, and we'll go over the film, or Mondays after the game, going over the film, and he would ask him, as on this play, what were you thinking? He says, Favre's answer was always, I don't know. I just threw the ball. Throw him another play. He said, what were you thinking on this play? I don't know. I just thought that guy was going to be open. I threw him the ball. He said, he just told Mooch, you talk to him. I can't talk to this guy. That's kind of the way he played, man. Aaron Rodgers was like Staubach and Montana, out there sliding around, getting first downs and throwing the ball downfield.
yeah. I
And
think
Peyton was just Mr. Cerebral, man.
right,
He played the game purely from the neck up. He didn't really have a great arm. He could make all the throws, but he didn't have John Elway, Matthew Stafford type arm, right?
no,
Uh,
no,
maybe in the range of Brady. He wasn't much better than that. He was just quick release, and he knew where he was going with the ball. As the play developed, he could just read defenses, know where the holes were, and get the ball to his guy.
Yeah, yeah. I think it would be hard, like you were talking about earlier, the doing a Mount Rushmore. It would be hard to take any of those four off and put Johnny Unitas up there. I wouldn't look at putting John Elway up there because I feel like John Elway has a little bit of that big game. Like we're gonna go out here and win these big games and some big plays, whereas the others seem to be a little bit more consistent in their play. Yeah,
I will say this: I think, and I agree with that. Especially early in his career, he may have been a little more erratic.
yeah,
Didn't have the accuracy that those guys had. And you're right, he was a playmaker, right? He was a lot like Favre in that he just made big plays.
right.
But I will say Elway took teams to the Super Bowl. I'd be hard pressed to say any of these other guys would have taken those teams to the Super Bowl.
That's legit.
Um,
That's legit.
because of his ability to make plays with his feet, running the football. They talk about the big the comeback, the drive.
Hmm.
I think he got three first downs on that drive with his feet. None of those other guys could have got three first downs on a drive with their feet.
Wait a minute.
And he made big
Mahomes
plays
can
on
do
the
it.
drive also. His ability to take teams to Super Bowls, his ability to make plays, like you said, in big moments
Yeah.
was just all worldly. If you talk about to me, for me, physically, the ideal quarterback is John Elway.
Okay.
You want a big, physical, strapping lad who is athletic. He played baseball. He was an outfielder in baseball. Um, a big athlete with a big arm who is athletic and able to move around and able to get first downs with his feet. My ideal model is John Elway.
As we're talking about it, I'm thinking about it. Is Tom Brady chasing John Elway in the sense of,
Chasing,
yeah, in the sense of a quarterback that has won Super Bowls as a player, but also as an executive?
oh, okay, okay, yeah.
Is Tom Brady chasing John Elway?
Yeah. You know how competitive he is, right?
Right.
So yeah, I wouldn't doubt that that has crossed his mind, and I wouldn't doubt at all that that has crossed his mind.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's a great discussion. I love the top 10 that we have, right?
Yes,
Because
yes.
especially when you get to like the top six, top seven through one, man, you can jumble them up almost, right?
Like I
And
said, our top nine are all the same guys, right?
yeah,
They
yeah,
are just in different orders, and I think that would probably be the case with most people. They probably have them in some different orders. Some people may not have some of the guys in this range, but yeah, that's about to me. That is the elite. Those are the legends right there.
yeah,
That
yeah.
that group there are the legends. And for me, yeah, I would put Tarkington in that group over Breeze. I certainly understand why you have Breeze there. Um, I, I would just give Tarkin slight advantage. Like I said, I think have them both in that tier because for me, that tier goes all the way up to 13. No,
Yeah.
two guys. They added two guys, so it goes up to 12 to 14. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we go
And
back,
yeah, having targeting at 10, I have him at 13 on my list, so it's not like that's a big difference,
right, right.
right?
Like I said, they are still in the same tier, right? Because
Right.
everybody from 14 down is in that top tier. They are in
Right.
the legend list. So I've got Greasy, Kelly, Bradshaw, and Steve Young in that category also.
Yep. Yeah. So it's a good conversation, man.
Yeah, man. I like the discussion, bro. All right, so that completes our discussion on quarterbacks, man. You'll see this stuff. We'll have it posted out on our socials somewhere. Um, so be on the lookout for that. And we've got some exciting shows coming forward as we move forward. Uh, we're going to be talking about the draft next week. So as we record this show, the NFL draft hasn't taken place yet. It will take place this week, Thursday, the 23rd of April is when it will start, and then complete that weekend. So
Right.
be on the lookout for our show next week. We will be talking about the NFL draft. Tell us as we close up, you got any thoughts on the NFL draft as it is upcoming?
They run that all the way out through Saturday night, right?
It's 3 days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's Thursday is round one, Friday is rounds two and three, and then Saturday is 4 through 7.
4 through 7. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It, well, we haven't really talked about how we're going to do that, but we'll probably talk maybe the top 10, top 15 draft picks, and then break down how each NFC North team fulfilled their needs. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I was looking more just from an NFC North perspective and the
Okay.
draftees that they have and how we think those picks will impact those teams.
Yeah, you're not going to let me get a chance to get my Kirk Cousins versus Fernando Mendoza takes off.
Yeah.
Does
because
Kirk
usually
Cousins does Kirk Cousins start the whole season? Because they paid him like he's going to.
you would think with come on, man, we know about Kirk. Kirk knows how to negotiate, man.
Oh man, but that's all, man. Hey, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Will and I love talking football, but when we're not bringing down the NFC North or bringing you this top 100s, we're helping people buy, sell, and invest in real estate. If you have questions about your next move, don't fumble the ball. Contact us for a winning game plan in real estate. Fellas, share the pod with your buddies. Ladies, share with your crew. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and don't be a knucklehead. Drop us that 5-star rating.
My man, I appreciate like my man Tellis said, appreciate all the comments that we get. Appreciate everybody for supporting the pod. Tellis, my man, I appreciate you, my guy, and we will see everybody next time.
Yes, sir.